Hey, hey! It's Sunday, the 31st. Okay, so couple things. I just finished the Grateful Dead 81 to 83 In and Out of the Garden. Uh, Live from MSG box set, 6 shows. Yeah, there we go. Man, this was one of the tighter box sets I've ever listened to. We had a bunch of new songs across these 6 songs. Uh, 6 shows. Uh, 2 shows from each year. We're at the point where in '83 at the very end they're bringing in My Brother Sal, which is a bonus track on In the Dark from '87. It was not a record bonus track; it was a cassette and CD bonus track. If I'm not mistaken, there's only 7 tracks on that album, but this is the 8th one. For those of you who have the cassette version and any CD remaster, this adds it. There's going to be a full, box set review of that coming real soon. I'm still reading the booklet for the April '78 Friends of the Devil box. So I'm way behind. I know. My fault. Uh, I haven't put in any more records for a couple days because I've just been listening to so many CDs. Uh, one of them is also this Street Corner Talking, Savoy Brown. This is an original release on Parrot Records. I have it backwards. Duh. But there's the full gatefold. Yeah. Uh, this is this is 3 times better the shape than I have ever seen this record in the last 8 years because that's how long I've been putting off buying it. I now have the full Walker trilogy. I wish I bought it sooner, but you know what? Considering the quality that the sleeve is in and the record itself, pretty much playing brand new for $15, that I won. I won. At the time when I first started seeing this, it was $8. And then once Kim died, it doubled in price. But to get Tell Mama, I can't get next to you. Times does tell. Street corner talking. All I can do. Wang dang doodle. And this clear quality. Oh, this is a win. All the other, especially the other 2 Dave Walker albums, they all have seam splits. They're all beat up. Not from a lyric perspective, just from a sleeve and an inner sleeve and gatefold perspective, they're beat up. Man, this copy plays brand new, and I did really good. So I'm not going to complain about that. And next up are 2 albums from Warren Zevon, as my phone goes off because I didn't bother to, you know, silent it. Warren Zevon with Sentimental Hygiene in '87 and The Wind 2003. So Sentimental Hygiene, man, the title track, Boom Boom Mancini, Trouble Waiting to Happen. I really love Detox Mansion as a guy who's gone through rehab. To hear that, and with Bad Karma, yeah, those hit on a different wavelength than you'd expect. The ballad, which is called The Heartache, so damn good. Uh, it, there's something about Zevon where, whether he's being heartfelt or not, he hits and writes on a totally different wavelength that you have to appreciate. Getting my 7 holy shit 7:30 p.m. coffee in. Woo! That's not a good look, but Well, when you ain't working, who gives a fuck, right? Uh, some of Zevon's just his apprehension to normalcy, to the status quo that puts you in a different level of listening, a higher level of understanding that I really respect. And it'd be better if he was here today to keep writing. I mean, the vitriol and the occasional petty jealousy or aggression would really be interesting. He'd probably get canceled today with everything being so PC, but he had stories to tell, and I wish there were artists and singer songwriters who still did this today. I mean, Reconsider Me as a ballad has to be one of the most human, close cutting, surgical tracks ever done. And I'll bring it to the last one, The Wind. So this came out in '03. I think it was 6 months before he died. Uh, Dirty Life and Times, Disorder in the House with Bruce Springsteen doing the guitar solos and the backing vocals. Numb as a Statue. This was a man who, a few months before, had appeared on David Letterman. I remember that so much. That was one of those moments where somebody was on TV and I'm watching as a kid, and I cried. I No bones about it. It didn't matter. Did I understand every single you know statement? Did I get the bigger picture behind all of them, like rolling the Thompson Gunner as a then 10-year-old? Most of it, yes, but a lot of it flew over my head. And to look at it now, especially with Genius and the immortal statement was now immortal, and how much you enjoy every sandwich, that those three songs, that was it 25 minutes total, that it's just so brutal. Not meant to be in a bad way. It just, how it hits you, the human being. And when you put on this, The Wind from '03, right after that David Letterman performance, and you get Numb as a Statue when he's talking about where he's at as a cancer patient going through treatment, the rest of the night, please stay, the heavy blues, the raucous, rub me raw. It, this album's on another plane, and it's something that once you play it a few times, you don't forget it. Like I said earlier, I wish he was here now. I don't know what he'd say politically or socially in regards to the current, PC MAGA background that we're currently framing things in. He'd probably tell us all to go fuck ourselves for being fucking sheep and not being humans at the end of the day, for buying into some ragged politicians and some ghost bankers who decide what we do. And we probably hate him for it. But At the end of the day, now or in 5 to 10 years, he'd be absolutely right. And good or bad, he usually was right. And that's the thing about Zevon's albums. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with his outlook all the time. But in the grand scheme, he's not wrong. The guy didn't sell you magic beans. He came out, he played fucking rock and roll. He wrote songs for Linda Ronstadt and many others, and that includes her backing band, which left and became the Eagles, who are on here, and many of his albums. Oh, never mind that Buckingham Nicks lived with him in his 2-floor studio apartment, and we wouldn't have the Rumors album or Tango in the Night or any of that crap if Warren didn't say to uh, McVie and Mick Fleetwood, "Oh yeah, those two idiots live with me. Come see them sometime." And we're on a whole different plane of influence and history as fans without Warren. But that's a whole nother discussion for a separate time. Uh, I was about to tape my top 10 Deep Purple openers with some, you know, honorable mentions. Real quick, Deep Purple equals one from 2024. They have a brand new album coming out in less than what 5 weeks now. The first time was Simon McBride. This is not going to be showing up on my list because, as great as Show Me is, it's you know instead of it being on the top 10, um, Show Me on this is definitely a setup to the other 12 tracks that follow. And the other 12 tracks are just incredible on this. But whereas the songs in my top 10 either blow the roof off your expectations or grab you and make you go for more, this is bringing you back to Deep Purple and rock, yet not quite the firepower. So it's more like Bad Attitude from House of Blue Light, where it's damn good, but what follows is better. When you have an album with A Bit on the Side, Sharpshooter, My Portable Door, If I Were You, Pictures of You, Lazy Sod, No Money to Burn. This is an album that on repeat listens, let alone the first listen, but by the third listen, you're sitting there going, wow, this could easily fit in 69 to 73 period right off the bat. Classic fucking Mark II Deep Purple. But the opening track doesn't hammer you in the face or crush your skull the same way. So I just wanted to mention it because it won't be in the very next video I'm about to shoot. But Deep Purple with Simon McBride and is another album coming. Arrogant Boy is the first release single as far as I remember. Damn good shit. And they haven't put out a bad album with Steve Morse, period, since 95. But let alone the Ezrin comeback era in 2013. They haven't. With the exception being Turning to Crime, that covers album, but who the fuck is covering that? Who talks about that album? That's a piece of shit. And the fact that they did a covers album let's see, the band started in 66. Ian came in 69. So we're talking almost 60 years of, Deep Purple Mark II. You know, or Deep Purple in general. Why they did that album, I don't know, but equals one is a hell of a statement. Okay, and one more before I do the next one. As I bash myself in the skull like a pathetic idiot. Sabotage, Dead Winter Dead. So this is the double LP, the 2022 edition. This is the red vinyl copy, limited collectors. It has the poster, the European tour poster. It has the booklet, all that good stuff. Oh man, Sarajevo. This is the time, 1990. Starlight, doesn't matter anyway. Incredible album. You know, and there's my little whoop. There's my little hype sticker saved inside. Uh, you know, because that's the new collector thing the last 2 years. You got to save the hype sticker. You can't just throw it away anymore. I don't know, seems silly to me, but everyone knows Christmas Eve, Sarajevo 1224. That became the main TSO track. Not What You See, the title song. This is a concept album, two soldiers during the, you know, Sarajevo Bosnian War. And they had The Storm, This Is the Time, live in Neu Eisenberg, 1997. This Isn't What We Meant, Mozart and Mattis. This is this is one of their greatest albums. And I know Dead Winter Dead immediately doesn't get talked about the same way that any of the Chris and John Olive albums do. But if you listen to it open minded with the musicianship, the writing, the production, Dead Winter Dead is easily the third or fourth best album they ever put out. And without it, we don't have Trans Siberian Orchestra, let's be honest. You know, it's just what it is at this stage of the game. There are, as great as it sounds, and as impressive the album it is, I couldn't help but notice that anything after Chris Oliva so far on these 2021, 22, 22, 23 vinyl reissues, um, everything after uh, it, everything from Handful of Rain on so far has gotten very flat in the mid range. Like the guitars and the bass kind of dies off in certain spots. I noticed it in This Is Not What We Meant. Um, doesn't matter anyway. I Am. I caught it on the live release from Japan, 1994. From the lap that only existed 30 days. And that's a live show. But there were spots where some of the guitar, the bass, and the hi-hats kind of... The transients aren't quite there going forward. Like, it's scaled back. And if you listen to the old CDs on some of these tracks, for like Dead Winter Dead, even Handful of Rain, they just keep going. And on these new vinyl editions, there's some spots where it hits that brick wall, which is crazy because this is vinyl and analog. But the albums we're talking about now are completely digital CD releases. So there's that wall that they hit and run into, production and remaster wise. Do I think Dead Winter Dead is incredible sounding? Oh, yes, it still sounds phenomenal. But I couldn't help but notice as a fan, there were some spots where the orchestration, the harmonies, the counterpoint, it it ran to that production brick wall. And on the previous CD versions, it doesn't. So I guess this is the trade off for buying it on vinyl post 2020. If it doesn't matter at the end of the day and you want the best, 98% largely best physical products, uh, yeah, these remasters on Edsel, you can't lose. But there are some trade ins, there are some drawbacks. That shouldn't be the case at this far in the game, but you know, it is what it is. We're just worthless peons who whip out our credit cards or our debit cards and we order these things. And then we have to pay the price because there's a consequence to it. But if you want them on vinyl, you can't beat the Edsel reissues. That said, if you want to save some money, shop around third party and get the definitive guitar tone, the bass tone, the counterpoint, operatic lyrics, and all that, go for the CDs. I can't make it any more, honest or down to the bone than that. So I'm gonna wrap it up here because we're at 22 minutes. I don't know how the hell I did that, but whatever. This is Talking Tony. I find a way to rant and moan and bitch about things. Just my usual flair. I may not always be on and consistent, and I'm drinking my coffee at 8 o'clock at night, but it's Sunday. Who gives a fuck, So I will turn around and be back with my top 10 Deep Purple opening tracks. See you real soon. See you in hell, my friends. I don't care. I'm bringing it back. It's the truth.